The journey starts today. I guess we can't really say that anymore, can we? Oh my goodness! So, welcome to the last series of reviews of the Pokemon series as we know it. This is technically, I think this still is considered Pokemon Journeys content, even if it's not technically. It's like the epilogue for Journeys without actually being Journeys because it still uses the same OST, the same score, the same visual style. There's really no intrinsic difference to make me think that it's something outside of Pokemon 2019 or Pokemon Journeys. What it really is just the epilogue of that series, which also means the epilogue of Ash's saga of the series, which we can now officially say because once these 11 episodes are done, we're done. Well, I wouldn't say we're done, but the anime now gets a whole new, I don't know if it's going to be a whole new canon, but it's going to be a whole new experience. So join me as we review these 11 episodes of Pokemon, or as I think they're calling it, Aim to be a Pokemon Master. Let's do it. Like I said, because it still feels like Journeys in a lot of ways, there's still some Journey-isms in here that I can't stand, but hey, for overall, the episode was pretty good. I like the variety he's using of his Mons now, where it's not just simply one from Kanto, all of his teammates from Kanto, or all of his teammates from Johto. It's an eclectic mix. I think we got Gen 2, 3, 4, and 6, I believe. Although we don't get to see his 6 Pokemon, which I think is kind of a shame. But we do get to see at least 5 of them, being Pikachu, Donphan, Blaziel, Sceptile, and Noivern. So we just don't get to see his 6. They seem to have made him more competent and more reliable, like he used to be. Like he actually does know how to do some basic medical aid, which is what he does for Latias. He doesn't get caught up on the stupid type issue again, and he recognizes things. So he seems about as competent as I would want him to be, minus some nonsense with Team Rocket. Team Rocket is still trash. It's still the worst thing in the episode, mainly because they're used in the same way they've always been used. Hey, we don't know how to further the plot. What do we do, guys? Oh, I get it. We're just gonna use you twice in the same episode to get you to further the plot along, even though it really doesn't do anything other than being entertainment. And part of me would have been like, why is Team Rocket here? And I am kind of still like, why is Team Rocket here? Because at the end of the day, they're not really adding anything other than like casual conflict. And I hope they're not using every episode. I would have preferred if they're going to have an episode center around them. The problem is I don't know if we have any confirmation of whether or not they're going to reuse Team Rocket going into the next series. My assumption is no. So this is also the last time we'll see Team Rocket. So I think they deserve an integral part in these episodes. But like, I would prefer if you just gave them their own episode, their own like farewell episode, instead of just it being like, hey, we're just gonna be as inconvenient as we always are, so you can kind of show off your team. Fine, I guess. It's kind of funny that like the premise of the series, at least these 11 episodes, is that Ash is just wandering. He's actually accomplished everything he needs to accomplish, but he loves Pokemon, so he's just enjoying venturing out and seeing the world, which is perfectly fine. I think he's earned it after all the work he's put in over the course of over 20 years in our time, mind you. So I get it. There's a couple of sequences I'm perfectly cool with, like the Beedrill sequence. I think is fine. It's kind of unnecessarily goofy. I think my favorite thing, if anything, in this episode is Ash's like cheekiness he has with Pikachu, where they're constantly kind of taking shots at each other. To me, that's great because it's a good example of what best friends do. Best friends take shots at each other. It's not just like we're cool, but it's Pikachu being cheeky without being like mean-spirited about it. He's enjoying himself at Ash's expense, but it's not like this. It's not like him in the beginning of the series. It's actually a good juxtaposition between how he was at the beginning of the series, where he was just mean to Ash. for seemingly no reason. Granted, Ash was experienced, but like realistically, Pikachu was really unforgiving to a kid who just got his first Pokemon. But whatever. Um, there's not really much else to say. Obviously, the Latias to me is a tie-in and a reference to movie 5, which I figured I'd give you. I think the way I'm going to do these reviews is if certain episodes will have more to talk about than others, but since this one really doesn't have a lot to it, and the worst part of it's Team Rocket, I don't care what you say. The worst part is Team Rocket, mainly because Team Rocket doesn't do anything productive. They made them slightly more competent when they decided to use Wobbuffet, but they did the stupid joke where it's like, I learned my lesson in the first run, but I lost on some stuff I didn't take account for. So now I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna do something different and just get the Latias, but not account for like everyone else. It makes them come off dumb and incompetent. Granted, I think that's the joke, but still. But just to give a little historical tidbit, I think to date, I think Pokemon Movie 5 still to me has the best. It to me especially has like the best movie soundtrack overall. I just love that film's aesthetic. I love that film's music. It's the film itself is good in its own right, but I think really what stands out for that film is that it was very visually ambitious to me. I enjoyed it a lot. I like that film a lot. Movie 5 is great. Uh, Latias has always been my favorite of the two, which is funny because if you guys know anything about me, my favorite color is blue. So I always find it funny that my favorite of the Latios duo is the one that isn't my favorite color. But I think she's just adorable and it kind of works for me. Um, I kind of wish there was more. That's the one thing I really do hate about Team Rocket being in this episode. Because Team Rocket's in this episode, we don't really get any explanation of why Latias is the way she is or why she's like so distrusting. I mean, it's a Pokemon, it's an animal. You can kind of still play the episode off as it is, and it's meant to be a one-off. But I kind of wish you had spent more time just on that, and then it would allow like Sceptile and Donphan to get more screen time. Because in that final shot, Noivern I think gets more screen time than anybody because he's being used as like a miniature plane, whereas Donphan and Sceptile are kind of just hanging on the ground. Blaziel only really gets the lake scene to himself, and considering he switches his teams out every episode, we know this based off the preview for next week, which shows Totodile and Corphish, which aren't on his team now. That means these are like the last shots of these Mons. I know he's not going to be able to give every Mon the attention it deserves, but it would have been nice. That's all I'm saying. It would have been nice. But with all that being said, I'm not going to drag this out any further because next week we have the return of what some would say is Ash's best girl. And if you don't say that, that's perfectly fine. Some people would say you're wrong, but it is perfectly fine to have your opinions. But with that said, look forward to next week as we talk about Misty in the fishing contest with some nice references if you've been looking at the screenshots. But episode's good. If I gotta rate it anything, I'll do it out of 11 instead of out of 10 because we got 11 episodes. Aren't I clever? Um, I'll give it about a 7. I think the bar for first episode it's fine. Team Rocket is the worst part of it, and I go and they reused the first Japanese opening and ending for Pokemon, which I'm gonna be real with you. Pokemon openings and endings have not had any emotional connection to me since until like Best Wishes. Best Wishes was the first time I really cared about the Japanese openings, and that's because that's the series I started with. So yeah, what'd be nice is if any generation, like when they switch generations, like for example, next week is obviously Misty. So if you did like a Johto, either Orange Islands or Johto's opening, that'd be perfectly cool. But then when we get to the episode that I think that has Brock and Dent in it, I would do Best Wishes, honestly. Because, I mean, you're not going to get another chance to use it, especially if we don't know if they're going to even reuse Iris, which I really wanted Iris and Dent to be in the same episode, but I guess I can't have everything. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not angry. I'm going to get out of here because I'm not angry. I swear I'm not angry. We can't say the journey starts today anymore. So I guess we'll say, I don't know. I guess we'll go with aim to be the very best, like no one ever was. I would say catch 'em is my real taste, and to train 'em is my cause, but it isn't. Just aim to be the very best. We've accomplished all our dreams. All right, I'm done. I'm done. We're gonna work this out. We got 10 more episodes to figure it out. We're out of here. We outie 5,000. Life's a game, play to win, and I will catch you guys later. Peace. I get a little bit too amped up when I'm talking about the series in which I was named after. Game Freak 12.